We're going back to Canvas Town. Now, while I know that might sound like trash to y'all, no pun intended, I think it's actually good. I think it's good for story development. I think it's good for character development because I think something big is gonna happen in Canvas Town. I don't think that's gonna be now. I think that's like the next looming arc. But there's even bigger news in this chapter than just like them going to Canvas Town. Obviously, Corvus sent them here. Why would Corvus do that? What could Corvus be up to send them here? You actually kind of get an inkling of that at the end of the chapter, because Urana has put herself in Gachiakuta. Holy sh! I wouldn't necessarily say, you know, she drew herself like this, but I have some thoughts about who Urana sees herself as in this manga, and we'll talk about that later. But yeah, Zanka's sister finally pulled up. The Hell Guard has pulled up to the Cleaners HQ, and we have a random Fu sighting, which I BS y'all now, bro. I did not think we was gonna run into Fu here, but that was my question when everything blew up, right? After we left the giant trash beast, after we did not make it past the border, I had a multitude of questions. What's gonna happen to Nelda? Who is the rest of the All-Star Vandal crew, right? Aside from Bundus and Jabber, and then where'd Fu go? Fu was the only one who was not back at HQ when the dust pretty much settled. You know what I mean? Thought that was hilarious. So it's a lot we have to unpack for this chapter. As y'all know, it's your boy DomoSenpai, the Gachiakuta enthusiast, the Kagurabachi enthusiast, your one-stop shop for manga things, man. If y'all are new to the channel and have yet to subscribe, make sure y'all go down below, hit the link in the description, y'all know, or the red subscribe button. Help your boy get to 100K. Hopefully this gets me fully caught up, right? I was behind. I had a lot going on in life. Y'all can never really determine what type of random things pops up in life, but it happens. So like I said, I have the utmost faith in myself, so let's see what we do. But before we get into this chapter, y'all know we got to do the intro, bro. I had a thought about Corvus, and I think it's important we touch on Corvus before we actually talk about anything, because obviously he's the one who runs everything here. He's the one who sent them on the mission to go to Canvas Town. But one of the things that we never touched on is, who is Corvus? Now, I've talked about it in, I bullshit y'all not, bro. I talked about it in like 30 other videos on Gachiakuta. If y'all want to go through my playlist on Gachiakuta, it's 100+ videos in it, so y'all can go check that out if y'all want. Remember, I made the assumption that Corvus was an angel. I made that assumption before. I was kind of getting too far ahead of myself, but that same thought process applies to now. Corvus knows a lot. Corvus has informants. Corvus gets information from a lot of different places. How does he get it so secretively? Remember, we thought it was Bundus as well. We thought that Bundus was the secret informant. That doesn't seem to be the case. So who else could be an informant for Corvus? How does Corvus know all of this? Now, remember, I also assumed that the masked man, right? The masked man that we saw when Rudo fell, whom we found out to be an angel. Remember, I thought that he would end up being the leader of the Cleaners. Remember, I brought that up and y'all was like, nah, yeah, there's no way he's the boss, blah, 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 blah. Now things are seeming to kind of line up as to who Corvus's informants are, because it didn't come across as weird to have a spherite as a member of the Cleaners. It came across as weird to everyone else, but Corvus, nah. Not so much. I have a feeling that may be the reason Corvus sent Rudo on this wild goose chase of a field trip. I mean, obviously it's going to be to help Remlin with her painting as well. I don't know, something struck me as I was reading this. And don't look too much into the visual representation of Corvus seeing Recto either, because Recto's name ain't there. Nobody knew who it was, so it's not because he's seen Recto. I had that thought too, but then I was like, no, the name ain't there, so it can't be the case. Let's get back into what actually happened. So we're on our way to Canvas Town, and how did we end up going to Canvas Town? Well, everybody was chilling, drawing pictures. Corvus pulls up and sees the kids, right? All the kids vibing, drawing. Did y'all peep the Soul Eater reference? Did y'all peep the Soul Eater reference right there? And the turd, which Keiudana always leaves a turd doodle in almost every chapter. You'll just find it randomly. Y'all think Keiudana sees herself as Guida? Y'all think that's what this is implying? You know, a carefree goofball of a kid who gets serious when necessary. Y'all think Keiudana sees herself as Guida? Because, again, we'll see Keiudana later on in the chapter anyway. And I love this image of Remlin, bro. Remlin is such a goofball. Because think about it, bro. Just a chapter ago, she was hardcore, hard-stuck, depressed. And now she's giddy. She's all happy. Because we're gonna get to see her pretty much create her magnum opus. It's a thing that goes on in Canvas Town, and it's passed down between all of the spellcasters. They each get to draw their own image or their name and how they see the world. So I think that's gonna be pretty cool. And I think that's pretty interesting just due to story purposes as well. Think about it for Rudo. Despite everything that goes on in this world, we're gonna get to see how Remlin truly sees it. And I think that's gonna have a big effect on Rudo, because remember, Rudo sees this world in a completely different facet than everyone else. And with Remlin needing staff and materials, why not send Rudo? Why not send the kids? I'm very curious about this mission because, like I said, I don't know where it's gonna go. Even though, you know, I've been reading Gachiakuta since it started. We've been covering Gachiakuta since it started. But normally, Seimu is calm and she's usually on top of her. She usually knows what's going on, all about the missions and everything. But this mission completely caught her by surprise. So if it caught her by surprise, it damn sure caught me by surprise. And it damn sure caught the rest of the audience, which is you guys, by surprise as well. You know what I mean? I get the sense that Corvus is trying to establish some responsibility, because I'm pretty sure he's been keeping tabs on Rudo for various reasons. And he knows that Rudo wants to try to help everyone. That's just what Rudo's trying to do now. He says it himself, right? He said, besides, I love the paneling for this too. Besides, the oldest member of the group will keep them safe, won't you, Rudo? Field trip is a synonym for the training that will help you grow. So take your time and enjoy your training field trip. Obviously, we know it's a diversion because we know who's coming to the cleaners, and it's gonna throw a wrench in their plans as well. But this is really good for Rudo because, as we see, Rudo doesn't know what it's like to really be around people, because remember, he was always alone and made fun of because of who his parents was, and casted out, I should say. He's taking this mission to his head, bro. He's like, I gotta protect these kids with all my might. You know what I mean? I gotta protect these kids with all my might. So it's an odd team with Dia, Rudo, Guida, and Remlin. Very rambunctious group, but there's always a method to Corvus's madness, which we see when we go back, because you knew Engine and Brat was not gonna let them go by themselves, bro. Engine is always trying to keep an eye on things to make sure that Rudo isn't in a minefield. It's just Engine being the big bro. But this led to Brat questioning things, right? He remembered what Bundish said about your boss, Arca Corvus. Who is he? And I like this because it brings out the hypothesis that I brought up before about who is Corvus. Why is he so mysterious? Why does he know so much? Who is he really? And Brat thinks that Corvus is using him as bait to lure the raiders out, but no, that's not the case. Obviously, Fu being here, I think that's just like happenstance, right? I think it's just a coincidence that Fu is here because he didn't make it back to be with Zodil and them, bro. He didn't. So that's a moot point. But what this does is, again, Corvus knew they were on the move. We see Zonka's sister. I'm assuming, right? Obviously, that this is Zonka's sister who is leading the Hellguards. Because remember, we heard this back in chapter 58 when we were going through Zonka's backstory, right? Like a little bit of the backstory that we did pick up on. The Nijik family is like, they're all like prodigies, bro. It's prodigious blood that flows through their veins. So her being the captain of the Hellguard would not be too far out of the realm of possibility. That's what Seimu was confused about as well, because she seen that Corvus was putting a lot of effort into his appearance. And he said, oh, I just get the feeling some very refined guests will be ringing our doorbell soon. And he knew, bro. He knew that they were gonna be here, which is crazy. So this is going to lead into one of 4 directions. I should say one of several, because that's like a usual content created thing. It's like, oh, for several reasons, or oh, it's several ideas I got, or it's several people saying, you know, yada, yada, yada. But it leads into a plethora of ideas that I have, right? So one, Corvus did this just so there's no suspicion of a spherite being here. Weirdly enough, how would the information of a spherite being there get to them unless information was sold, i.e. Zodil. And Zodil's just been out talking and saying things and getting people to fight just so Rudo can be isolated and he can get his hands on them. There's that. Or Corvus sent them there with the idea of running into people. And who, might you ask, are these people? Oh, I don't know. Maybe Amo, maybe the Angels, maybe Hyo. You know, it's quite a few people that Rudo and the gang can run into to pop this arc off. Because I don't think this arc is gonna be like huge. I just think this arc is gonna lead us into something massive like a war. That's what I think is going on here, because again, Corvus is too intelligent. Corvus is way too intelligent and he knows a lot. And I'll be looking at these crows too that just so happen to be in a lot of areas that these guys go to, keeping an eye on things. It's either that or this is like a symbol of death, because crows are where death be. Or is that ravens? I don't remember which one it was, but y'all get the point. Some shit's about to go down and I'm here for it. I can't wait for chapter 86. I'm excited. Make sure y'all let me know what y'all thought about this chapter down below, because again, this is really cool how all of this is panning out. It's cool being back up to date with Gachiakuta. I'm feeling better, kind of, and I'm ready, bro. I'm ready for the story. I'm ready to peep what's about to happen. Like I said, this is one of the weirdest groups of kids that I would have ever thought would be together, but I think it's fitting for the growth of our protagonist and, to be honest, like the progression of the story, because we have to make our way back to Amo. We just have to. We have to figure out if she's alive or not. Leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you... Oh, and dude, I completely forgot. This is also going to be Zonka's growth as well, because Zonka is here. You know what I mean? Zonka's here. So yeah, man, leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new. Anyways, I've been recording for too long, man. It's been like 20 minutes. It's your boy DomoSenpai, and I will catch you guys in the next video.